just part of that dueling press conference between President Biden and former President Donald Trump at the southern border on Thursday. Biden calling for unity, saying he wants Trump to join him in support of the Senate's bipartisan immigration bill, while Trump called for increased border security and warned against the rise of migrant crime, which, as we all know, ended recently with Laken Riley's death. So the real question here is whose visit was more beneficial for Texas law enforcement?
Well, to answer that question for us, we are now joined by Texas State Representative Kronda Thimesch. Also joining us is Newsmax contributor and author of Terrorists on the Border and in Our Community, Charles Marino. Thank you both so much for joining us this morning to discuss this really important topic. Representative Thimesch, former President Trump visited Eagle Pass, which is the epicenter, really, of the border crisis, whilst President Biden went to Brownsville, an area which really hasn't seen a lot of illegal traffic. Whose visit was more impactful in your eyes?
Oh, absolutely. President Trump's visit. President Trump was actually on the border. He was there. I've been to Shelby Park. I've been to Eagle Pass. As a freshman legislator here in Texas, I've actually been to the border more than our president and vice president. And for Texas, when you say there was a dueling visit, no, clearly President Trump was on the border. He's been there multiple times. The only thing missing for Biden's trip was an ice cream cone in his hand.
Yeah,
it was a photo op. We saw that, and the people of Texas saw that.
Yeah, Representative, as someone that has served in office myself, I know a photo op or a PR opportunity when I see one. But Charles, let me come over to you. Former President Trump acknowledged the growing rise in migrant crime, referencing again, as I mentioned before, the murder of 22-year-old Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. What a tragedy, horrific. But you juxtapose that, right, with President Biden calling for unity, yet he won't even say her name. And he certainly didn't go far enough. The Border Patrol Union mocked him on X, saying in part, board AF-1, Air Force One, right? Take nap, wake up in place called Brownsville, read large teleprompter message. It's all Trump's fault, and it goes on from there. What's your take on this? I mean, one of the things that jumped off the page for me, Charles, was when you looked at the agents or the Border Patrol behind President Biden, they had some very stern looks on their face like they did not want to be there.
No, absolutely. Opposite sides of the spectrum. I mean, look at how Trump was received down there, right? Started with the location he selected, who met him when he went down there to brief him. He's being viewed as somebody that's fixed this once and now as a savior to hopefully come in and fix it again. Biden, on the other hand, during this visit was viewed as a feeble man with feeble policies. And that's what it came down to. Nobody is buying what Joe Biden is selling anymore. And look at the choices. Michael, you mentioned earlier that what bad politics, what a bad political decision for Biden to go down there at the same time as Trump. I mean, look at what his choices were. Either go to California and Arizona, which are still out of control, or go to a state that has had to step up and enforce the immigration and border laws of this country because you haven't been doing it the past 3 years.
And he's trying to stop them from doing it, Charles. Not only are they doing it because he's not, but he's fighting them at every turn he can to stop them from doing it.
I think it's also
that's right. Every step of the way. Right.
I think it was actually a good observation as well that we saw that Governor Abbott went and met Trump, but didn't go meet the president. So that really says a lot about the state of affairs in Texas there. But Representative, a federal judge has now blocked the new Texas law, which would give the police the power to arrest migrants suspected of entering the country illegally. Yet Governor Abbott says that he isn't backing down and is keeping all of the fences, all of the resources there in place, abiding by the Constitution after triggering the invasion clause. So what does that mean, that these policies just keep getting defeated in court?
Well, so, we had the federal government, they're saying they could cut our razor wire, and I've been down to Eagle Pass. So Governor Abbott, we have now 3 rows of razor wire. They're not cutting through that razor wire. We're going to continue to keep the buoys in place. They're a deterrent. We are not backing down because Texas is absolutely doing what the federal government will not do. And I am proud to stand with Governor Abbott. We have agents on the ground who, when they heard a year ago what Governor Abbott's plan was to do, they thought, we're going to step up, we're going to do this. I don't think it can be done. And by golly, it was so impressive to see that they said Abbott was right. We are deterring people. We're not going to allow the federal government to prevent us. And what people don't understand, it's really a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
We need to deter them from coming across that border. My district is up in the North Dallas-Fort Worth area. We see little 11, 12, 13-year-old girls coming to our hospitals pregnant, babies having babies, because we've not deterred them. And so we absolutely must stop what the government, our federal government, won't do.
That's a great point. Very quickly, we've got 20 seconds left, but I did want to ask Charles, you this very quickly. Mayor Adams in New York City making a 180-degree, starting to say now they have to modify their sanctuary laws so that they can give criminals over to ICE. 20 seconds. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but I'll tell you what all this is doing is it's morphing into a very bad story for Democrats on law and order in general, right? It's not just about immigration, border security, sanctuary cities, Democrat prosecutors that won't prosecute, and Democrat politicians that have abandoned the professional law enforcement. So this is morphing into one gigantic issue for voters.
All right, I think we better leave it there. All right. Representative Thimesch and Charles Marino, we really appreciate insight on this extremely important topic. We'll have you back soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.